What was your impression when you saw him play at Shelly's Manhole?
Oh, I was totally amazed. He was the first one that did all of the harmonics and stuff to that extent, and it was very mysterious. But it still is. It's not an easy thing to do. A lot of people have worked on it and can do it quite well, But Lenny was, as you know, he was always very giving of anything that he could show you. He was always saying, "Hey, check this out, man! I just found the latest his latest transcription of a Bill Evans thing, and how he'd find different ways of playing the chords and stuff. He was always ready to show you the stuff,
And so when you saw him play at Shelly's Manhole, you just went up to him and introduced yourself?
We hung out after, and then we started hanging. He came, come to the house, and we did some playing together, and that was the start of it. The relationship.
And what kinds of things did you guys play? Just sit down and start playing some standards?
Oh yeah, it was always that, or exchanging ideas and chord changes and voicings and stuff like that, But we did spend a lot of evenings together,
And then somewhere not too long later, you got him these 2 weekends at Donte's.
Oh yeah, it was within a month or so that he, that we got him in there. I was called by the club owner to see if I could do a weekend or something there, and I couldn't do it. So, and I said, you should get Lenny's in town. I said, he's got the stuff that's going on, and everybody's, he would be a good person to have in there. And so he did hire him, and I think he worked 2 weekends there. I had a little tape machine that I always carried around, and that's where I captured all that stuff, and I actually called. The buzz was out, all of the guitar players in town were there to see him. Amazing guy. I was doing all these magical kind of stuff, And George Van Epps, that was the first person I called. In fact, when we recorded a lot of that, George was sitting at the table with us, and George Van Epps was just like really amazed. I remember his reaction.
Was George Van Epps somebody that Lenny listened to and liked?
I'm sure he would have, yeah. As far as making an impact with the guitar being a total instrument, Lenny was like a step beyond that, in many, many ways. And, he really expanded the guitar technique and the most important thing, the tonal, the colors, the fact that the harmonics brought the higher register out that, actually wasn't played or utilized in that, because the guitar is basically a very low pitched instrument in relationship to other instruments, especially keyboard,
And did those guys get a chance to rehearse and get to know each other?
I think they did, because Lenny was a little concerned at first because, his rhythm section had left, and he was a little concerned whether or not he could get, because the nature of Lenny's playing required a bass player that could really fill the bottom part of the chords, a lot of his, so he relied on that. And I know that they did. Lenny had, of course, charts and stuff, and they worked out some stuff. I know that they rehearsed because they couldn't have the stuff that they came off with wouldn't have happened otherwise.
It's a remarkable CD because it's to me it shows a whole different side of Lenny's playing. I mean, Lenny played in a very different style on the Dontes.
Yeah, he was more. It was just freer because, I don't know how much control the recording people had. They probably wanted him to do some of his special material, or maybe, how companies are. You figure he had total freedom to do what he wanted to do. And plus, I don't think he was as concerned about having, a recording company there and microphones all around him, because I did this thing, just had the machine on a table someplace, So it was probably more relaxed in that sense, So years later, he came out here and he was like, I played it for him and he was like, wow, I played that, I don't know what impressed him,
Thank you all very much. It's been a wonderful evening. I want to thank Dick, Berk on drums, and Lenny on bass, and myself, Lenny on guitar. We'd like to leave you with all those very fast jazz waltz. So don't try and dance. Yeah. It's too fast. Earn it, Paul, earn it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.